Welcome back to the dojo, y'all. Welcome back. I'm glad you can make it. Thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah, before I get into this, go ahead and do me a favor. Like the video because I know you're going to like it. Share the video because you don't need to be stingy. And subscribe because you came back too many times not to push the button. Most of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. I don't know why. And get this, like I said, share. Stop being stingy, y'all. Share these videos. Alright, look. Topic of discussion for today. Everybody grows older, but not everybody grows up. Everybody grows older, but not everybody grows up. What you talking about, Hawk Sensei? I got you. Like always. So Pete, right? There's this thing called prolonged adolescence. That's just prolonged, it's just extended. Extended adolescence. We get to a point in our lives where we think we know everything, we think we got it all figured out. And a lot of us stay in that place because we haven't been challenged or hit hard enough by life to change our perspective or viewpoints. Or we're just insane or we're stubborn. Insanity is just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's insanity, right? So some people may be insane because of their prolonged adolescence, or their insanity may be a byproduct of prolonged adolescence, whatever. We also have people who never wanted to grow up. I know that feeling. When I was young, I was never really excited about being a grown-up. I know there's plenty of kids who were, I can't wait till I'm grown up so I can do this and I can do that and I can do... Nah, that shit don't really matter. You just get a little bit more freedom than children do. And you're ultimately held accountable for everything that you do and or don't do. Right? But some people never learn this. The childhood traumas that we never get over. If you never got over it, that means you're holding on to it. So it's sitting somewhere deep inside of you, growing, aging, just like you, because you haven't dealt with it. Daddy issues, mommy issues, abandonment issues. All of these things in our lives, they're supposed to teach us to mature, to teach us to understand, to teach us to be better, to teach us to not be weak. That's why we constantly find ourselves in these different challenges and faced with different obstacles. Because the test of time and the test of life is growth. You have to constantly grow. I'm not saying you gotta constantly change your mind about stuff. No, but you have to constantly grow in understanding and wisdom. If you don't do that, you'll always be where you're at. If you don't understand how to communicate more effectively, not saying you don't know how to socialize. If you don't know how to communicate more effectively when problems arise, you're going to always find yourself in a bad situation. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about if you don't know how to solve issues with words, you're going to always have to resort to violence and or underhanded methods, passive aggressiveness and whatever. That's not what we want to do. We want to grow up. We want to be men. And in order to be a man, you have to be respected by other men. The gauge of manhood and masculinity is measured in concert, is measured by other men. Women can chime in, but ultimately they don't really know what this is all about, right? Back to the topic, right? Not everybody grows up. You got people who are in their 40s and 50s and 60s and still acting like they in high school, still gossiping, You know what I mean? This still goes on. This still goes on. You see it. You see it everywhere. These podcasts, that's what podcasts are. Most podcasts are gossip. They're talking about other people. And what's gossip? Gossip is drama. Gossip is exciting. Gossip, you can use gossip to go instigate some shit between other people and watch that go on. You know what I mean? Gossip is for people who are bored and have nothing else better to do. They don't know how to occupy their time, their attention, whatever. Gossip is for those people. The people who are still stuck in a high school mentality. That's what I mean by not everybody grows up. We all get older. That's just a fact of life. But not everybody grows up in their thinking, in their mentality. There's a saying in the Bible that says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. When I was a child, I acted as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Right? I put away childish things. You may think the stuff on my shirt is childish, or video games or whatever, all that stuff is childish. Not really. It's therapeutic. The way you do things, or the way you act, or the way you think may be childish. Right? If you're sitting in the house after a long day of work playing a game, there's nothing childish about that. You've handled all your responsibilities, and now you want to come home and decompress and relax. You know what I mean? You don't got nothing to prove to anybody, but people who on the outside looking in, that's how they gonna view it. Don't worry about them. Those who matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter, right? Back to the topic, right? Why not everybody grow up is because some people it's difficult for them to grow up. They can't let things go. They can't let things slide. They haven't gotten to a place where they realize there's more important things. They're trying to gain everybody's approval or have everybody, you know what I'm saying, revolving around what you think or what you see. Even if you the leader of a clique or a group, like, your word ain't absolute. Any day of the week, people can decide to just stop fucking with you and stop following you. You know what I mean? You ain't the end all be all, right? But most people, what I see is most people like calling the shots. They like feeling like a boss. But most people don't want to take the accountability that a boss has. That's because of immaturity. You gotta pay the cost to be a boss. It ain't free. It comes with responsibilities, levels to this shit. You know what I mean? If you still find yourself doing the same things and find yourself in the same situations and dealing with the same type of personalities and spirits that you did in high school, it's probably a telltale sign that you never really grew up. When you get out of high school, you realize that most of the relationships that you had in high school and throughout your school career were superficial. They were superficial. You were just dealing and interacting with these people because they were in proximity, they were close by, right? But most of those relationships, they went nowhere. If you still talk to most of the people that you do in high school, it's because y'all all live around each other. Y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all still in the same neighborhoods. Y'all never moved out, you know what I mean? Y'all still in the same place. Alright? That's not a slight to anybody. Sometimes people comfortable where they at. They don't need to go nowhere else. Alright? But all these things I'm telling you is because the world that we live in, it conditions you to be immature. It conditions you to be dependent, codependent. Like, you gotta have somebody do your taxes for you. You gotta have somebody mow your lawn. You gotta have somebody cook your meals. You gotta, you know what I mean? If you have enough money, you don't have to grow up. You can just spend money and have everything taken care of. You know what I mean? But even at the same time, the same token, you can be taken advantage of, because you haven't matured your mind and your thinking and your understanding to know when somebody's taking you for a ride or taking advantage of you, right? Some people, they never matured past naivete. They're so naive and trusting of everybody they come across. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with trusting people. There's nothing wrong with wanting to see the best in people, but you have to understand the pattern recognition that comes with new people, inviting new people into your life. You don't know this person. You have to take your time to figure people out, to be able to understand who they are and what they about. You know what I mean? You can't just trust people and open your doors to any and everybody. You don't know what people going through. You don't know what people trying to do. You don't know what their intentions are. You know what I mean? A lot of people trying to get over. You know what I mean? People not looking for love and relationships. They looking for help. And sometimes people want to help themselves. Instead of asking, they want to help themselves to what you got. You know what I mean? The people who live in that street life, people living the street life is because they never matured enough to realize that the best way to get out of the streets is to work a job. But they think they gonna hustle their way out the streets. This world is not designed for you to make it that way, unless you got support or friends in high places. You gotta be connected. You know what I mean? Most people don't realize the lessons that come with maturity, because a lot of people don't want to grow up. They don't want to mature. They don't want to be responsible for their actions. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be the one to blame or the one that everybody points the finger at. You know what I mean? You got to grow up. You got to suck it up. Right? The reason why I like my solitude is because most of the people that I interact with, they don't have the ability to relate to me. I can relate to them because I've been where they at, but they can't relate to me. So I cover that. I veil that. I don't hide that. I just keep it out of their reach, because that's not what they about. They not on that type of time. They still worried about what he said and she said. Some people are so bored in their own life that they gotta go outside. You know what I mean? They gotta go outside and figure out something to do. They can't do anything in the house. They can't be left alone with their thoughts. That's another sign of immaturity. You can't be left alone with your thoughts. You can't sit alone with yourself long enough to understand yourself, right? And then when it comes to social interactions with relationships don't go nowhere because nobody's mature. Nobody wants to be adults about the situations. We still playing high school games, right? And y'all seeing it. Y'all understand it. When you reach a certain level of maturity, you realize why certain things don't need to be done. You don't need to have certain people or certain events going on in your life. What I'm really trying to get everybody who's watching this video to understand is everybody's not going to grow up. Everybody's not going to be on the same page with you. So what does that mean? You can't take everybody with you. Some people you got, you know what I'm saying? You gotta wait and send them on their way. This is what I want you to understand. You might have to walk alone until you find the right people for you. Everybody don't grow up. Everybody gets older, but everybody don't grow up. With that being said, I hope you learned something. I hope this video helps you. Hope you waking up every day with a plan and a purpose. If you're not waking up with a plan and purpose, hey, at least you're waking up. And before I go, I gotta tell you, go ahead and like the video, because I know you like this. You made it this far. Share the video, because why not? There's no need to be selfish. And subscribe, because you came back too many times not to push that button. Till next time, y'all, take care.